This is Common Ground from Atlanta Track Club. Atlanta Track Club is a nonpartisan nonprofit, but following the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, who was killed while he was running in the spring of 2020, we launched a project called Common Ground to talk about diversity and inclusion in the Atlanta community and to have a conversation about how we as a running community and how we as a city can do better. We're on these Common Ground benches made out of recycled materials from bottles at the AJC Peachtree Road Race, and I'm joined today by Shannon Joyner, Director of Marketing for the Atlanta Falcons. And Shannon, first of all, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're an Atlanta native. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you ended up here working for the hometown team.
Yeah, so I actually grew up about 10 minutes down MLK Drive. So grew up, my family as season ticket holders for the Falcons. So the Falcons in this organization, I've always been connected with, even indirectly. And so went to college here, went to Morehouse, and then moved away for a few jobs, but then got an awesome opportunity to return in 2018 to serve as my current role, which is marketing director for the Falcons.
So this is really a dream job for you.
Yeah, super dream job. Very happy. Every day when I come to work, I have to pinch myself because I can't believe it's real.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
Oh, there's a lot of good options. So when I, kind of based on my age, Deion Sanders was kind of the first big player I was able to follow. But, when Vic was here, there's just kind of nothing like it. So huge Vic fan. But then even, recently, Julio was a favorite player of mine. Matt Ryan was a favorite player, so it's been awesome to kind of follow the team and then now obviously working for the organization.
We're here in the Home Depot backyard, which is obviously in the shadow of Mercedes Benz Stadium. This project, maybe not a lot of people in Atlanta or outside of Atlanta have seen it yet because it's fairly new. Can you tell me a little bit about this location and what it means to the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're actually sitting on the space where the Georgia Dome, used to be. And when a lot of new stadiums are built and old stadiums are torn down, it's like, what do you do with that space? More times than not, they become, kind of parking, lots and parking garages. But our organization, led by, our owner and chairman, Arthur Blank, wanted to do something different. We wanted to have a space for community. And so what the Home Depot backyard is a very kind of vast green space that has a lot of different programming aimed centrally at bringing our community together. So we do a lot of health and wellness programming. We bring different community members and groups together to have this space. And just even in the past year, we've had voter registration here, we've had food giveaways here, we've had free COVID testing, because this space really is a great manifestation of our core values.
And happening right now inside the stadium behind us, COVID vaccinations, which has been a huge project for the organization, I'm sure. Tell us just a little bit about how that's going.
Yeah, when you really look at our core values again, of which really drives everything that we do, putting people first and listening and responding. And there was a need, obviously everything that's going on, with COVID and vaccinations, there's not too many spaces that are able to bring a whole bunch of people together for something like that. And so when there was the opportunity for us to step in and open up our facility, for our communities that we care, so much about, it was a no-brainer for us. So it's been an awesome operation, and really credit to a lot of the members of our organization that have had to shift. We don't have a history of being, a vaccination, center, and so credit to a lot of our staff that have been able to pivot and really work with different, community and government partners to make this space available for so many people that need the help that they need.
I want to come back to your core values in a second, but you talked about Arthur, and obviously he's been so involved in the West Side. He's also been a prolific runner over the years. He's done the AJC Peachtree Road Race. He walks at least one of our events a year. I see him out on West Paces Ferry all the time, out walking. How about you? Are you a runner?
Yeah, I think I am a runner. That question of, are you a runner or do you run, right? So I'm somewhere in between, but have lived in the Midtown area for, a while now. And so being able to run around Piedmont Park is something that I love, I love doing. I got a dog in April, so I run with my dog too. So yeah, I think running has been something that's been very important, to me, because all you need is a pair of shoes to be able to do it. So yeah, running's been a big part of my life.
Things are picking up here now. It's March when we're recording this. The draft is coming up. The MLS season opens up soon. What's the vibe like in the office right now?
It's exciting. I think this, in normal times, is always an exciting time for us across our organization. But everything, of course, that's happened, in the past year, there's a lot of optimism and hope and excitement, for us as an organization. When you look at our two, sports teams, we have new, leadership for both of those clubs. And as you said, the MLS season is starting soon. We have the NFL draft coming up, and our fans are excited, and we're excited too. So we're excited to kind of get through this period, and then be able to bring fans back into our stadium to be able to root on the teams that they love.
First the Peachtree, then NFL season, lots of people. It sounds like normalcy is finally coming back.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to talk about the sort of the core of this project, which is diversity and inclusion and discussing systemic racism. The NFL and the MLS, they've really been at the center of this conversation for years, and the Falcons have been a leader in some of those conversations. United's been a leader in some of those conversations. Why is that topic, that issue, so important to this organization?
Well, it really starts, with Arthur and what he stood for, throughout his entire life, and going back to, our 6 core values. But at the end of the day, our organization is about bringing people together. It's about representing the communities, that we serve. And so for us, that is, of course, we want people to come to our stadium and root on their favorite teams and interact with us in different ways. But at the core of it, we want to be a community pillar. We want to represent, the people that we serve. And so to be able to do that effectively, it can't just be on the football field or just on the soccer pitch. We have to represent, the issues that matter to our communities, because we are a part, of the community. We want to authentically serve, who they are. So when there's things such as, social injustices or other kind of acts or demonstrations that don't hold up, what we represent, we're going to step up. We're going to have a voice, and we're going to make sure that the communities that we serve know that we're in it with them.
You've mentioned your core values a couple times, and you've said some of them, but I want to list them all for everybody. This is the Arthur Blank Group core values. Put people first, listen and respond, include everyone, innovate continuously, lead by example, and give back to others. Obviously, your DEI efforts revolve around those, and one of the things that I know that the Falcons and United are known for is supporting the people inside, supporting the players, supporting the staff. How much of the efforts kind of ladder up to that?
It's a huge, what I love about working about this organization is that everybody has a voice. And as you said, one of the core values is including everyone, and that extends to our players, as well. And we've always had kind of open dialogue through all different aspects of our organization. And even when you look at in the last several years, we have a player-led social justice committee across our teams, and that was sourced from our organization, wanted to make sure that our players knew that we were behind them. But what we didn't want to have is just kind of an organizational point of view, and then our players to have feeling like they had to have a separate point of view. We wanted everyone to support each other, and we're very proud of how our players across both organizations have stood up and had a voice, and however we, from an organizational standpoint, can support that, we will do that.
You kind of wearing 2 hats now. Besides being director of marketing, you're leading the DEI council for the whole company. Can you talk about the scope of work that council is working on right now?
Yeah, so the council's been in formation, since last summer. And the goal of why the council kind of came together, you first got to take a step back and you look at our entire organization, with the Blank family of businesses. You have, our 2 sports teams, you have Mercedes Benz Stadium, you have PJ Tour Superstore, you have our Arthur M. Blake Family Foundation, as well as our guest ranches in Montana. And so when you look at that, our businesses span a lot of different industries and a lot of different types of people. So the main goal of the council is to have a representative body, not just from a kind of office and organizational standpoint, but across a lot of different demographics, to make sure that we had a group that represented the voices of our entire organization, so that we can have rich dialogue. We can think about issues from a lot of different perspectives to make sure that we're both serving our fellow associates within our organization, so that we can best serve the communities that we serve outside. So our scope ranges from a lot of different things. First and foremost, we want to make sure that we're serving our internal associates. So whether it's making sure that people feel like they can come to their office with their full voice, making sure that we have a set of activities that really embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion, both from policies and practices to other kind of cultural enrichment and educational opportunities for all of our associates. And then externally, we've always, been an organization that's had a strong presence in serving our community. And so there's different aspects of the council on behalf of the entire organization that has different activities that serve the communities externally as well.
Almost a year in, what's some of the output you've been able to see from these efforts?
I think the biggest thing, and it's very, I feel like similar to the conversation we're having right now, is it's just creating a space for dialogue, creating a space for, education and understanding perspective. I think what this kind of last year has really demonstrated, so much is that, you go to work with people that you spend 8, 9, 10 hours a day, but often, conversations center on work or center on other types of things, but we're full, people with so many different perspectives, both inside and outside, of the workplace. And we want to make sure that we're an organization where everyone feels like that they can bring their whole selves, because, the issues that are affecting our society affect all of us, to the core. And so I'm excited that the work continues to build an environment where we're able to have, those conversations, able to have shared empathy and understanding for each other, because that is what then leads to action that will benefit all of us.
And you kind of touched on it, that the work builds, and this is a progression. And to that point, I know that D&I is not new to this business. It's not something you guys started last summer. It just sort of got more of a focus last summer. But what did diversity and inclusion look like at the company prior to the formation of the council?
Yeah, and I think, to your point, our organization has always tried to live out our core values the best that we can. We've had, structural things such as the Arthur and Blake Family Foundation that does so many things with D&I in terms of impacting our community. We've already touched on kind of Home Depot backyard and everything that this space does. So for us, it wasn't going from 0 to 100. I think what this past year did more than anything is we have an opportunity to be even more overt, to be even more structural in making sure that we're hearing from all of our associates about the issues that matter, to them. And so that's why I'm proud about what the council is able to do. But more broadly speaking, every single associate is able to do. And so I would say the biggest difference is just providing more kind of structural opportunity and more kind of overt, pipelines for everyone to express, the things that matter to them.
And I know this comes from the top. I know Arthur is very passionate about this topic. How involved is he in this, and how much support do you get from him?
Super involved. I mean, this is at the core of who Arthur is, and that's what I think what makes all of these efforts feel so right, because it's authentic. And Arthur has had, an active hand in not just the DEI Council and not just our overall organizational efforts, but, he was part of the inaugural Social Justice Committee, for the NFL. He's had an active voice and has spoken up, across a variety of issues and topics that affect, our community. So there's a sense of authenticity that starts with him that then, kind of cascades throughout the organization.
Topics like violence, like hate, like racism, they're not, frankly, fun things to address. But the Falcons have, United has, this organization has, the NFL has, and the MLS has. Can you talk about how the teams address these topics against a backdrop of what is otherwise an exciting, fun, kind of atmosphere, and how that's been received?
Again, our organization, I think the way we view things is that we're a 365, 24/7 organization. And how that applies to that is yes, on Sunday afternoons, for a Falcons game or a Saturday evening for a United match, we bring in, 70,000 people. We want people to have fun and root on their teams. But at the core of who we are is not just a football team or not just a soccer club or not just the other various businesses. At the core of who we are is we try to serve our communities. And because of that, there's an authenticity that requires us to make sure that we're always having our ear to what's happening in our community. And so because of that, that's our driving principle. And so it allows us to always feel, authentic and really responsible to make sure that we're having an active voice, because it's who we are as a core.
Do you feel like that's created a stronger bond between the teams and the fans?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think what it shows is that, yes, we're an organization that aspires to win as many games that we can and be successful in our various businesses. But at the end of the day, our kind of contract with our communities is that we're going to be here, no matter what. What matters to them is what matters to us, as an organization. I think that builds a sense of goodwill and trust between, our communities, because we know that we're in it, with them, and we want to be a part of the community just as they are.
Atlanta is a sports town. It's we've got a rich sports heritage, hosts a lot of championship games across different sports. We at Atlanta Track Club were really honored to be able to work with you guys and work with the Hawks and the Braves and the Dream for the One Team ATL 5K this past summer, raising money for the National Center for Civil and Human Rights. Is there an ongoing conversation with the pro sports community about these efforts?
No, absolutely. I mean, we have a fantastic relationship with all the other pro teams, in the city, because we all have this shared mindset that, when Atlanta wins, we all win, right? And I think it's even, kind of great timing. We're here in March. April 4th is upcoming, and April 4th has become this day, 404 Day, as a day to really kind of celebrate Atlanta. And for the last several years, we've done content with all the pro sports teams. Last year, during COVID, right as it kind of hit in that time frame, we did a video featuring players from every single pro sports team in Atlanta about speaking to the power of community and kind of getting through this, together. So we're all very excited about working together because we know that sports is a positive catalyst for change. And so we have great relationships with other pro sports teams against that.
5 years from now, what role is an organization like the Blank Family Businesses playing in this conversation? Or maybe better said, what's the result of the organization's efforts?
Well, I would say the first thing is that there's no finish line, with it. Like there isn't, a topic such as diversity, equity, and inclusion isn't a finite destination. It's a mentality. It's who you are, as a core. So when 5 years from now, I hope we're and believe we'll be in a better place than we are, currently. But it's not about having just a set goal. We want to be here by this. We want to constantly, daily, weekly, monthly, be making an improvement, because at the end of the day, it's about human relationships. And that's the business, that we're in. We're about bringing people, together. We want to continue to be a positive force against diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Bringing things back to present day, the season's coming up. What are you most excited about for the Falcons season, and what are you most excited about with the United season? We're
excited about, getting people back together, and we're making plans to be able to have as many people as we can, in the stands, because there's just nothing like, the sense of community through, sports. And so we're excited. The weather is getting, warmer, the seasons are upcoming, and we're just really excited for kind of all of us collectively, hopefully emerging, from this period of time and getting back to winning games. So we're excited.
You've never run the Peachtree, but you've seen it. How do we get you on the start line this year?
Well, I mean, I feel like I know the right people, so I'm excited. I have my shoes tied up and ready to go. So, something like the Peachtree Road Race is such an awesome, opportunity, and how it's become not just a local but a global, event. So we're excited for it and looking forward to participate.
Awesome. Shannon, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.